There was a screen you could see from a mile down the highway, a massive white rectangle rising out of a flat field, lit up at night with a silver-blue flicker that painted the sky above it. If you were a kid in the back seat on a summer night, that glow meant one thing: you were almost there. Your father pulled off the road, paid at a small booth, and drove onto a ramp that tilted the car's nose upward toward the screen. He reached out the window and grabbed a metal speaker from a post, hung it on the glass with a hook, and turned a little red knob. The thing crackled and hissed, and then you heard tinny music, thin and distorted, coming from a box no bigger than a shoe. You were in your pajamas. Mosquitoes were already coming through the gap in the window. Kids were screaming on a swing set somewhere underneath the screen. The sky was going from orange to purple, and the movie had not even started. That was the drive-in movie theater. Over 4,000 of them stretched across the United States at their peak in the late 1950s. Today, fewer than 300 survive. If you ever went to one, as a kid, as a teenager, or as a parent loading your own children into the car, tell us about it in the comments. Tell us which drive-in and what was playing. The people who were there are the only ones who can tell us what it actually felt like. The whole thing started with a problem nobody would have predicted. Richard Hollingshead's mother couldn't fit comfortably in a movie theater seat. Hollingshead was born in 1900 in Riverton, New Jersey, worked at his father's car products company, and apparently loved his mother enough to invent an entirely new form of entertainment for her. In 1932, in his driveway, he bolted a Kodak projector to the hood of his car and nailed a screen between two trees. He put a radio behind it for sound. To test if it would work in rain, he turned on the lawn sprinkler and projected right through the water. Then he lined up cars, propped the front wheels on blocks so each row could see over the one ahead, and worked out the geometry. Stadium seating for automobiles. He got a patent in 1933 and started building immediately. Workers came from the local relief rolls during the Depression, 40 cents an hour for skilled labor. The whole thing was finished in 3 weeks for about $30,000. On June 6, 1933, the world's first drive-in theater opened in Pennsauken, New Jersey. A 40 by 50-foot screen, 3 massive RCA speakers mounted near it, each one 6 feet across and loud enough to hear from a mile away. 400 cars on gravel ramps. Admission was 25 cents per car plus 25 cents per person, and the whole vehicle was capped at $1. The first movie was a British comedy called Wives Beware. The slogan told you exactly what this place was for. The whole family is welcome, regardless of how noisy the children are. It sold out opening night, but Hollingshead never turned a profit. The theater closed by 1936, and he went back to the car products business. He died in 1975, without ever knowing that his driveway experiment would become one of the most beloved institutions of 20th century American life. The early years were slow. Those giant outdoor speakers were the problem. The sound carried for miles, but inside the car, it was terrible. Only about 8 new drive-ins opened per year through the late 1930s. The second one ever built was Shankweiler's in Orfield, Pennsylvania, opened in 1934, and it still runs today. It is the oldest continuously operating drive-in in the world. 2 things cracked it open. In 1941, RCA introduced small in-car speakers, little mono boxes on posts between parking spots that you hung on your window with a metal hook. The sound was tinny and crackling, but it was inside your car now, your private space. That changed everything. Then around 1949, a court struck down Hollingshead's patent. The court called it an obvious idea that never should have been protected. It was terrible news for Hollingshead, and the best thing that ever happened to the industry. With no licensing fees to pay, anyone could build one. And they did. 95 drive-ins in 1942, 1,500 by 1949, over 4,000 by 1951. At the peak in 1958, roughly 4,063 drive-in theaters were spread across the country. They accounted for 1 in 4 movie screens in the entire United States. 1 in 4 movie tickets was sold through a car window. The experience had no equivalent in American life. You arrived while the sun was still up. An usher with a flashlight waved you onto your ramp. If you had kids, they were out of the car before the engine stopped, sprinting for the playground underneath the screen. Swings, slides, seesaws, merry-go-rounds, monkey bars. Some of the bigger drive-ins had mini golf courses, petting zoos, even swimming pools. The kids ran wild while parents set up lawn chairs next to the car or backed the station wagon in with the tailgate down and spread blankets and pillows. Then the sky went dark and something shifted across the whole field. Car doors shut, speakers got adjusted. The screen flickered to life with cartoons, coming attractions, and then the feature. A double feature ran 4 hours or more, starting around 8:30 or 9 and ending well past midnight. Some places ran dusk till dawn marathons, 3 or 4 films straight through to sunrise. Here's what most people didn't realize. The movie wasn't the business, the popcorn was. Studios took 45 to 55% of ticket revenue, sometimes 80 to 100% in the first week. The concession stand was where the owner made money. Popcorn ran at an 85 to 90% profit margin. Fountain sodas ran at 90 to 95%. Concessions brought in 40 to 80% of a drive-in's total revenue. And the menus went far beyond any indoor theater. Popcorn, hot dogs, hamburgers, fried chicken, pizza, shrimp dinners, barbecue sandwiches, Chinese egg rolls, ice cream. Drive-ins had full kitchens. They predated McDonald's. They were America's original fast food restaurants. The intermission made it all work. A countdown clock appeared on screen, and then came the most famous 40 seconds in American cinema history, "Let's all go to the lobby." It was animated by Dave Fleischer, the same man who created Betty Boop and Popeye. It was set to the tune of "For He's a Jolly Good Fellow." A marching soda cup, a dancing bucket of popcorn, and a saucy box of candy parading down a theater aisle. The Library of Congress added it to the National Film Registry in 2000. 80% of independent theaters ran it at some point, and it worked. Hundreds of people would hit the concession stand at the same time, and nobody minded the line because the night was warm and there was nowhere else to be. The drive-in did something no other entertainment venue in America ever managed. It served 2 completely different audiences at the same time, in the same field, and nobody complained. Families claimed the front rows. Kids in pajamas who would be asleep before the second feature started. Station wagons backed in with the tailgate down, blankets everywhere, maybe a baby in a portable crib. This was the only movie theater in the country where a crying baby was actually welcome. Dad hauled the kids to the concession stand while Mom held the spot. You did not need a babysitter. You did not need to dress up. You could bring the whole family for $1 on Buck Night. Teenagers owned the back rows. The drive-in was where you went on your first car date. Driving freedom met romantic possibility in one dark field. The term passion pit dates to the late 1930s, and it meant exactly what you think. The movie was irrelevant. The windows fogged from the inside. An Indiana state representative tried to pass a law against it in 1951, calling drive-ins passion pits and claiming teenagers were drinking beer in their cars. Owners fought back with bright lights and security patrols, but the unspoken arrangement held. Front to back, lit to dark, families to couples. Everyone knew the rules without being told. Then there was the trunk. Hiding in the trunk to avoid paying was so common it became a national rite of passage. A columnist named Barry Coltnow remembered his friend's sister Gail, an honors student, who repeatedly popped the trunk so they could sneak in past the gate. After she parked, they would climb out like they had been freed from 20 years of solitary confinement. Colt now pointed out what every operator already knew. How else do you explain a young woman entering a drive-in alone? Nobody tried very hard to stop it. It was too much a part of the culture. The sensory world of the drive-in stuck with you for life. Buttery popcorn and automobile exhaust and burning mosquito coils and cigarette smoke drifting between the cars and warm summer air that smelled like grass and earth. One writer called it the marriage of a camping trip and a carnival. The mosquitoes were legendary. At the drive-in, you were the snack bar. You would crack the window to clear the fog, and they would find you in seconds. Car batteries died every night without fail. The staff kept jumper cables ready because 1 or 2 cars were always dead by the end. The movies that played on those outdoor screens had their own ecosystem. Major studios sent first-run films to indoor theaters. Drive-ins got what was left: B-movies, horror films, exploitation pictures. Roger Corman made an empire out of it. Over 500 films, nearly all profitable. His second movie cost $12,000 and took 6 days. The Little Shop of Horrors was shot in 2 days and 1 night. His casts and crews helped launch the careers of Nicholson, De Niro, Coppola, Scorsese, and Cameron. American International Pictures went even further. They would come up with a title and a poster first, then write the script to match. When someone pitched, "I was a teenage werewolf," a partner said, "My God, that is $1 million title on a $100,000 picture." That was the drive-in movie industry in one sentence. The drive-in scene in Greece, Danny Zuko singing on the playground swings with the screen flickering behind him, was filmed at the Pickwick Drive-In in Burbank. It's gone now. In Twister, a tornado tears through a drive-in screen while it's showing The Shining. The drive-in is destroyed on camera. 5 things killed the drive-in, and they came one after another like waves. Daylight. Saving time hit first. The Uniform Time Act of 1966 pushed sunset an hour later through the entire prime season. Movies couldn't start until 9 or 9:30. Double features ran past midnight. Families with kids couldn't make it work on a weeknight anymore. Rising land values hit next. Drive-ins were built on cheap land at the edge of town in the 40s and 50s. Then, the suburbs expanded outward and swallowed that land whole. A drive-in sitting on 10 to 15 acres of prime real estate was suddenly worth more as a shopping center than as a theater. As one owner put it, people would build on the outskirts of town, and the town would grow. The VCR and cable television showed up in the 80s, and for the first time you could watch movies at home. Multiplexes offered air conditioning, better sound, comfortable seats, and first-run films 5 or 6 times a day. Indoor screens went from 23,000 in 1990 to 37,000 by 2000. The final blow came in 2013 when studios stopped shipping 35mm film. Everything went digital. Drive-ins that wanted to keep showing movies needed new projectors, $70,000 to $100,000 per screen. No subsidies, no help. 90% of the surviving drive-ins had not converted. Over 30 closed in a single year. The phrase that went around the industry was simple: go digital or go dark. The great ones disappeared. The all-weather drive-in in Copiague, Long Island sat on 28 acres, had room for 2,500 cars, a 1,200-seat indoor theater attached to it, and a little trolley train called the Tally-Ho that shuttled people to the concession stand. It cost $1 million to build in 1957. Closed in 1984. It is a Home Depot now. The Algiers in Detroit had the widest screen ever built, 216 feet across. It is a shopping center. Thousands of drive-ins became malls, big box stores, housing developments, and parking lots. The screens came down, the land got paved, and nobody put up a marker. Then something nobody expected happened. In March 2020, indoor theaters shut down for a pandemic. The drive-in, the thing everyone had written off as dead, suddenly became one of the only safe ways to see a movie in America. That summer, 85% of all U.S. box office revenue came through a car window. Walmart turned 160 parking lots into pop-up theaters. Garth Brooks played a concert simulcast to 300 drive-ins at $100 per car and sold 50,000 tickets in 2 hours. High schools held graduation ceremonies at drive-ins. One school screened Groundhog Day afterward. It kind of feels that way for these kids. It didn't last. When the world reopened, the numbers settled back. Today, roughly 280 drive-ins survive in the United States, 7% of the peak. Most are family-owned small businesses, some running for generations. Shankweiler's in Pennsylvania opened in 1934, still operates. Benji's in Maryland has the largest screen in the country, 120 by 52 feet. Patrons vote on upcoming films by flashing their headlights. 4,000 became 280. And here is what the numbers can't carry. The drive-in was a rite of passage that stretched across your whole life. You started as the kid in pajamas in the back of the station wagon, falling asleep during the second feature with popcorn butter on your fingers and a mosquito bite on your ankle. Then, you were the teenager in the back row, heart pounding, the movie completely forgotten, the windows fogging up from the inside. Then, you were the parent, loading your own kids into the car, buying them popcorn at the concession stand, hoping the baby would sleep through the second film. The screen was the same screen. The speaker crackled the same way. The popcorn smelled exactly the same. Only you had changed. What disappeared when the drive-ins closed was not just a cheaper way to see a movie. It was the last place in America where you could be completely inside your own private space and still be part of something communal, a field full of families and strangers and teenagers, each in their own car, all watching the same flickering light under an open sky. No dress code, no shushing, no assigned seats. A baby could cry. A kid could run. You could show up in pajamas and fall asleep in the back seat and nobody cared, because that is what the place was built for. And from a mile down the highway, all you could see was a giant screen painting the darkness with silver light, like a beacon saying somewhere out there, people are watching a movie under the stars. 280 of them are still out there. If one was yours, you already know. You can still hear that speaker. You can still smell that popcorn. You can still feel the car tilting up the ramp and that enormous screen filling the windshield while the sky went purple behind it. If this brought something back, hit like and subscribe. And tell us in the comments which drive-in, which town, which movie. Were you the kid in pajamas, the teenager in the back row, or the parent hauling everyone to the concession stand? Those 4,000 screens are gone. The stories live in the people who were there.